You had mentioned in your opening remarks a bill, House Bill 5641, speed recovery, and sponsored by, I'm a co-sponsor of that, but it was sponsored and introduced by Ranking Member Sam Graves, which raises the small projects threshold to $1 million. And can you talk a little more about how raising that threshold can reduce the complexity of projects and maybe speed up recovery?
Yes, sir, I can. So right now we have different categorizations between small projects and large projects, and small projects can be managed at the state level, but the threshold for those projects is relatively low. And when you look at especially larger disasters, you can actually have multiple small projects within one jurisdiction, which just becomes administratively burdensome. And so raising the small project threshold allows the states to utilize their management costs that are a part of that disaster declaration to be able to manage those more effectively. We know the terrain, we know the people, we know the contacts, and so often we're able to move those projects along to close out a little bit quicker. FEMA just is a large bureaucracy, and so they're trying to manage project by project. If we raise the large project threshold, that means FEMA can spend their time doing the more complicated projects that are larger, and they can potentially have some cost savings around the time that they spend doing all of the administrative pieces for small projects. I want to highlight, though, it's really important. We very much support raising the small project threshold, but it's also really important to have a measure that will allow us to carry over management costs from disaster to disaster. I'll just raise the example of Vermont. I think we have like 10 or 11 open disaster declarations in a very short period of time. We have disasters quite often here, but we're only able to use management costs for that specific disaster, and that doesn't allow us to build any capacity or sustaining capacity over a number of years that's already right-sized because it's only based on the size of the disaster. So if we're going to be able to raise the small project threshold, we really want to try and also be able to carry over management costs that will give us the capacity to do that additional management of small projects.